Hello, all. So me and Shania decided to do a segment just about the differences between how parents view things and how kids view things. And today's topic is mental health. Clearly, this one here is goofy. But today's topic is mental health. So, Shania, I'm going to start asking you a question. You got yourself together? Huh? Okay, so, what do you think the biggest misconception is with parents in regards to their kids that are experiencing mental health?
They just try to sweep it under the rug. They perceive it as you're just going through a phase, and they don't want to sit there and talk with their child and understand what's going on. Because kids don't even know what's going on with their mental health to begin with. Because I didn't know what was going on. I just was just sad. So it's not like something we can just say or vocally know what's going on. They just want to say just to simply be happy. That can't just happen.
Right. So you think the biggest misconception is that parents don't view it as a serious issue when it comes to their teenager? Well, So in regards to that, I do think that parents can think that it is a phase, only because most parents feel like, as a parent, you may feel like you give your child everything that they could possibly need or want. And so you could deem their mental health, whatever they may be experiencing with their mental health, you may deem it as, I guess, not that serious because they don't deal with the same things that you deal with as a parent. And I also think it's hard for parents that experience mental health themselves. If you're dealing with mental health and you're not really dealing with your mental health as a parent, then how do you deal with it with your child? And another question, do you think parents should be open about their mental health with their kids?
Yeah.
But I guess some parents may feel like their kids may look at them differently. Do you think that's a possibility?
You shouldn't have kids if you're mentally unstable, so you can't help them with their mental health. But if you're mentally unstable, you can cause or harm them in a way that you didn't want them to be. You may not give them enough love because you don't even have enough love for yourself.
I mean, yes, I get that, but at the same time, you just like you said a teenager might not know they're experiencing mental health. Sometimes adults don't either. But also in regards to that, sometimes you may have had that child and you didn't. And now all of a sudden you do because of responsibilities of being a parent. So now you may be experiencing mental health and, what do you do? Some people don't have the time to address it.
The adults don't have time to address their own mental health?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. I think a lot of teenagers, you view your parents as put together or they don't have issues for the most part, right? But that's just not true. That's just not true. And I think that, I think you're right. Me as a mom, I'm very transparent with you guys. If something's going on or if, whatever, I'll let you know. I'm transparent, but everybody isn't as open with their mental health. And so do you think that a parent's inability to be open about the things they've experienced, even if they aren't experiencing now, but maybe experienced it as a teenager or early adulthood, if they were more open, it would help kids be more open with their parents?
Yeah, because some kids struggle opening up to their parents because they think their parents would judge them or not, or think what they're going through isn't real. They can say they're faking it to get attention.
That they could be attention seeking. And now, that's a fine line though. I'm going to be honest with you. Is something in your eye? Because I just see you keep twitching. You okay?
Yeah, bro.
But I think it is a fine line. And I do get what you're saying. But I know that some kids may be attention seeking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you know they're attention seeking, then they're attention seeking. But
yeah, but then as a parent, how do you tell the difference?
You have to talk to them.
Yeah.
You can't just like assume they're attention seeking, because then that will never happen. Because if they're not, then it's like you're ruining your relationship with your child.
By not talking to them about their mental health?
Yeah. You can't just be without, you can't just like not talk to your kid about their mental health.
I agree. I do agree. I think that it's so unfortunate because a lot of people suffer in silence, not just teenagers, but parents too. They suffer. It's like a misconception, or not a misconception, but it's kind of like people don't really believe in therapy or counselors, or they want to pray about it or pray it away, or just buy them something and they'll be okay, or take them on vacation and they'll be okay, or
yeah, that's the thing where like if you have a lot of things or your parents are providing you stuff, they just think that even though you seem sad, you may not actually be sad because they think you have everything you want, but that's not always the case. It can always be something in your head that's going wrong. You have to be physically and mentally okay for you to have a nice life. You can't just have everything physical and have everything you want, like electronics and food and clothing, but you won't be able to just be happy if you can't be mentally happy.
Well, I agree. I always tell y'all all the time that if this is not right, nothing else that happens matters. Because without that working properly, it's just, and sometimes people have seasonal depression, bipolar depression. There's so many forms of depression, anxiety, and I think for me, because I suffer from things that it was easy for me to see it elsewhere, like dealing with you guys. If something's going on, I could be like, okay, even if you're not opening up or talking, I'm still opening up that door. I'm still making that conversation. I'm making you aware that I'm here. I noticed that something's off, and just talk to me. But I feel like even when I'll say this, I feel like some kids believe that their parents would judge them or feel away without giving their parents a chance. Like you have to give your parents a chance to address it. You can't just automatically say, oh, they're not going to believe me, or they're not going to care, or whatever, without giving your parent the opportunity to help. Yeah. Like if you go to your parent and they don't help, that's one thing, but like not saying anything at all. Because I see so many times, I don't know if you see it, but I guess I read more news articles. But a lot of times I see parents say things like, I never knew that they were like sad, or I never knew that they were depressed, or whatever the case may be, and their child, is no longer here. And they said they just never knew. The first thing they seen was their child took their own life. So my question is it really the parents, or is a teenager afraid of being looked at a certain way?
It's both. Because sometimes teenagers, they're just too scared to approach their parents. Or others just because the parents made themselves so unapproachable that they can't approach them because they're just so hostile. So it depends on the relationship with the child and your dynamic in the house. So
yeah, you're dynamic to begin with. Because I think that, because I don't know if parents, all those parents were necessarily unapproachable, but sometimes I think as a teenager, you may want your parent to look at you in a certain light. Like, not necessarily that they're unapproachable, but if you tell them this, they'll think less of you, or they will get you help, or they will like make it a big deal. And like, are they afraid of that? You know what I mean? Like, is it just that, or it's a multitude of things?
It really depends on the person. I mean, if you if you just don't want to get like therapy or anything, then that's one thing. That's why you wouldn't want to tell your parents. But, like, if you're just not telling your parents blatantly, it's just something you just don't want to tell them because you're scared.
Right.
That's why it took me so long.
Yeah, but do you think? But even you though, like I told you, which was that was a very bizarre thing for me because when I spoke to you, I told you I was so confused because I'm like, me and Daddy both was like, we knew something was wrong, and we kept asking. He was like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm like, we could tell that you weren't fine. Like, you're not fine, but you didn't want to talk. But it's like we're very open. Me and you talk every day, all the time. So that's why I said I don't know if it's unapproachable. Is that just that's not the end all to be all. Sometimes it's the kid themselves.
It's hard to talk to someone about how you're feeling mentally.
Is it because you really didn't know?
Didn't know. It's hard to ask for help when you don't even know what you need help for, or why you need it, or why you're feeling this way.
Right, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's tough for me because it's like, even when you don't, like, it's okay to say I'm sad and I don't know why. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to say, I don't know why. I just feel down or whatever. Because sometimes I may feel down one day and the next day I'm great. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. So, like, what would be a bigger help? Like, do you think, like, I know there's counselors in schools and stuff, right?
No one
but it's like,
counselors.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking, like,
I would
but never, right? And so my thing is like, do you think, because I was really thinking about starting something, as far as like outreach in schools, like in your school, go up and ask if I could start like a program where people can just come talk, like literally, like just come talk, and it's not attached to like documented at the school. You know what I mean? Because I feel like most of those counselors are too busy to actually meet the needs of the kids.
Yeah, my counselor doesn't even answer my emails.
Yeah.
Everyone who has it, like I have multiple friends who've said the same thing, that she does not help anyone. And even if you meet a counselor, they can easily tell your parents or tell other people.
Right.
And you don't want that, so it's hard to trust them.
Right, and that's why I'm like, if it was there another resource in the school that was solely focused on mental health of like kids, and it could somehow be anonymous or somehow I don't know, even if like you wanted to come with a friend, if you were scared to come by yourself, or if there were group sessions where you could just come and not even necessarily have to talk. You could just listen to other people and like get the advice, but not really speak if you don't want to. Do you feel like teenagers would communicate more about their mental health in a group setting versus alone?
If you set yourself as like Mr. Youngblood, everyone talks to Mr. Youngblood and talks about him about his problems. If you set yourself as a nice, approachable adult that you think can be trusted, then yes, they will come talk to you.
Right.
You just have to establish a relationship first, because at first they're not going to come.
No, of course not. They don't know you. But I'm saying in regards to like, okay, you said they go to him one-on-one, but like group settings, do you think that kids will be embarrassed going to group setting? Or
if their friends know what's going on, then no. They can talk, because their friends probably are trying to help them. So it's like, if they can just go talk into a group setting, it won't be that hard because their friends can help them and make them feel better.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel like, you got a pretty big school, and I feel like so many kids probably are suffering day to day with their mental health, and they don't really have anyone to talk to, and that's why a lot of people resort to using drugs, drinking. People use sex to like cope with mental health. And so that is not a mirror, that is a camera. I'm just gonna put that out there. But, you know,
Who did that?
you. But I just think that teenagers should give their parents more leeway. And I also think that parents have to be more open to, like you said, their child's mental health. So Shaniya is clearly tired because she just keeps yarning and, you know.
That was only the first time I yawned.
That was the second time.
Only twice. I can yawn just to yawn.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Okay. So, is there anything else or questions you wanted to ask me? Because I asked you multiple questions. So, if there's questions you want to ask me, or you think everything was said that needed to be said, or what?
Why do parents just brush off their kids' mental health, even if they don't have a good setting? Like if they're just like in the middle class, why do they decide to just brush it off and not help their child?
Fear. Fear in the sense that they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know what could be causing the issue. And like you said, they may honestly feel like, okay, well, they're just sad right now. They won't continue to be sad. You know, like this too shall pass. And a lot of parents feel like it's a phase because their mental health wasn't addressed, for one, when they were children. For two, I think that parents can see the light at the end of the tunnel more than teenagers. To say this, they've been through hard times. They've got over it. They've gotten past it. So in their mind, you can do the same. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's not true because they've learned through that. You guys are still in the process of figuring life out and figuring yourselves out. So although they may think that, doesn't mean that it's necessarily true. Also, if they have too much on their plates and they have so much going on with their mental health, how are they going to help you? Even though it's your parent. That's their job. But if they aren't addressing their own mental health, there's no way that they can help you.
It's definitely why some people should not have children.
I agree. But it is what it is because, like, I mean, you're right. And also the family traditions in a sense, like, if you were raised a certain way, then you raise your kids that same way, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing with different cultures. I know you know that because you go to school with so many different cultures. And sometimes culturally, mental health is non-existent. They don't believe in it. They don't think that, they just think that you're weak and you could be stronger because culturally, that's what they believe. Does it make it right? Of course not. But that is the things that happen. And so I think that parents can do better, but I think that parents have to do better for themselves first. You cannot help someone if you aren't where you need to be. And sometimes life just happens to you. You could have been, as a parent, you could have been fine, but maybe you lost your job. Maybe somebody died that you depended on to help you do things. There's just so many different things, a divorce. There's so many different things that can shift a parent's mental health. And so, that's why it's important to be open and honest with your kids about what you experience because I'm very transparent. You guys know that. I tell you whatever it is because I think parents live in this bubble where they don't want their kids to see them as flawed. And so because of that, they shut their kids out of a lot of things. Whereas me, I don't really look at it as flawed. I look at it as being human and letting your child know that things happen. Things don't always work out. Just like when I was crying. Remember I was crying in the car? What was that, like a couple months ago? I was like crying. I didn't get into, I'm taking my master's right now, but the one that I wanted to get into, I didn't get into, and I met all the qualifications, but long story short, my transcripts didn't send the way they were supposed to send. So like, okay, whatever. I didn't get accepted. At the time though, I did not know that. And it was completely devastating. And, I just couldn't even pull out the parking lot. At the parking space. I was crying.
Tears.
Huh, what'd you say? Tears.
Snotty.
Like, tears. But at the same time, my kids witnessed that, but they also witnessed me keep going. I allowed myself to feel in that moment and feel away and be sad or whatever, but I also kept going. And I don't mind doing that in front of my kids because my kids know that, okay, you're sad now, but you're going to be okay. And they were encouraging, like, Mom, it's going to be okay. It's fine. Did they feel sad to see me cry? Of course, just like I feel sad to see them cry. But they also see me keep moving. And I think that that's important for parents to understand that you can be sad. Your kids are not going to think less. Do you think less of me?
No.
I'm just saying. So I'm just saying, like, your kids are not going to think less of you being your open and honest self. So is there anything else, or do you want to get a final hoorah to let them know? If they don't leave with nothing else today, what do you want people to leave with? What do you want teenagers to leave with? And what do you want parents to leave with?
I want teenagers to open up more without, I don't want them to just give up on telling their parents. I want them to be more open and give it a chance. And I want parents to stop pushing their feelings aside, because that can harm their mental health even more, because their teenagers can find that they can't seek help through their own parents.
Right. Agree. I would leave with, for teenagers, is just like you said, to be more open, give their parents a chance, not try to figure it out on your own. If you don't know what you're feeling, just say, I don't know. I just don't feel like myself. I want help. I want to figure it out. And for parents, don't be scared. If you don't know, there are so many resources out here to help your child in whatever community you live in. There are always resources. You do not always have to pay. There are so many organizations that help children, help parents get through these tough times, because sometimes as a parent, you don't know what to do. And that's okay. You don't have to. But when you don't, find resources that do to help your child, bottom line. So that was our first episode. What did you think about it?
What I thought about it?
Did you think it was cool?
Yeah.
We'll be coming back with so many other topics. What is our next topic going to be?
LGBTQ plus community.
That's going to be very interesting, because I know she has a lot to say about that. Mm-hmm. No. But thank you guys for watching. Share it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Forever Davis is our family YouTube channel. If you remember, we had it a couple years ago. And we stopped. But we back. Me and my girl. Period. Capricorn twin flames. This is my Capricorn baby. 2 days apart.
That tickles.
But you heard her. That's what we'll be talking about next. See you guys. It's Friday our drop day. Fridays. Yeah. See you guys next Friday for that conversation.